Here we are at episode 19 of season 5, Pretension, and things are only escalating further with the development for Adrienette, Gabriel and Tomoe resorting to using force against their children, a brand new ship being born, and so much more. So let's get into analyzing this episode. Right off the bat, not only do we see Argus is still hanging around in Paris even after what happened in Emotion, but we also see Natalie trying to help Gabriel undo his cataclysm scar by using this machine, which once again is provided by Tomoe's brand. And while progress was seeming to be made, just like that, things took a turn, resulting in his scars to return and himself feeling an excruciating pain. While his healing session would be interrupted by Tomoe, he goes to assure that he will follow through with their plans and make it happen. When it is, he hands her the same eyepiece we'd seen Felix wear in the season 4 finale, and Adrien later discover. I'm really curious as to how he came across this and whether it will be something we can expect to see be explained within either episodes 11, 13, 14, 15, or 17, as the last time we had seen this, it was in Adrien's possession, and since then I've been holding on to the thought that Adrien would sometime this season look more into it. By the way, about Gabriel's current situation, I've seen a lot of different opinions on what his future may hold, whether his existence being erased completely or surviving, and I do want to note that we did get confirmation that we could expect to see Gabriel sometime next season, and of course that doesn't solidify that he'll be present and could perhaps just be flashbacks, but personally, I don't want for his character to die off. Now, part of me would understand if gradually it comes to that, because all along, while he's been chasing this one thing he can't get, he was losing himself within the process, but the other part of me feels like it'd make all of what's happened throughout the seasons feel like so much less than it should. Regardless though, I'm curious to know more about how you feel and what you may be expecting for his character. Look at how far these two have come. It feels like just yesterday we were at the very beginning of this season, watching Adrien's feelings towards Marinette unfold, him coming to the realization of them, and now they can both have proper conversations with each other. Plus, we'd even go to see in the following episode, Revelation, that the two can be there for each other when it comes down to their knowledge of Lila and her lies. Even when we see Marinette having second thoughts now just before talking to Gabriel, after Adrien giving her a little bit of reassurance, she would go on to put Gabriel in his place after telling him that as the daughter of bakers, she doesn't even need to try something in order to see it's tasteless. Throughout Marinette and Gabriel's conversation, he kept referring to the pancake put in front of her as a prime example of her future and her decisions, mentioning how she has two options and only two. Either she eats this pancake and have everything Gabriel could offer her, such as becoming the greatest fashion designer, except Adrien couldn't be a part of her life, or the second option, a future where she'll have nothing except her childish dreams. While this all would result in Marinette leaving without finishing her pancake or stating her final decision to Gabriel, just as she is leaving, she takes one last look towards Adrien's room, all while Gabriel is watching her and signifying for her to leave, and it's then that she'd make a run for it to Adrien's room to give him a hug and say, "I love you, Adrien. I won't abandon you ever. I'll always be there for you." I cannot even properly describe my reaction to this moment, besides saying that I was and still am screaming so loud for Marinette. What she did completely put Gabriel in his place and made him realize just how determined and tough she really is, and that if he intends on removing her from Adrien's life, she will no doubt put up a fight till the end. This scene also just before the conversation between Gabriel and Marinette left me feeling so sad for Adrien, because you can see the fear in his eyes alone. Over sticking by Marinette's side or obeying his father's orders, he'd no doubtably stick up for Marinette, and I just can't help but feel bad and extremely concerned for him because he has no idea what's coming. Even after emotion, he still doesn't quite understand what it is Felix was hinting at, and I'm so not ready for the day it gets revealed to him. So remember how we saw Argos here within the first 30 seconds of the episode? Well, he'd go on to eavesdrop Kagami and Tomoe's conversation, and as soon as he heard Tomoe disrespecting Kagami, he would pull over the car and flee the scene with her. Tomoe, however, was prepared for a situation like this, where she could use it to her advantage to become akumatized, and that is exactly what she would go on to do. I know that some were anticipating for this ship to be a thing since as early as last season, during the Gabriel Agrest episode, when they both shared this glance with one another, and personally, I didn't think much of this other than that they were onto each other, but now, yeah, at first, Kagami couldn't help but resent him after the recent events, and now being taken to the top of the Eiffel Tower with no explanation, but as soon as Felix told her that he felt the two were alike, and he couldn't stand listening to the way Tomoe was speaking to her, that's when everything changed, because I don't think Kagami has ever had anyone tell her that the way her mother treats her is unacceptable. Kagami isn't the only one though who doesn't sense the issue within her mother's behavior, as the same goes for Adrien and the way he sees his father, or at least how he used to. It brings up the question why out of all of them, Felix has been the first to realize this, and after he brought up in the episode how his father was much crueler to him than Tomoe was to Kagami, and quoting that as a creator of a senti monster, it is one's duty to protect them, love them, and most of all, help them discover their own meaning to their existence. We know for a fact that he's referring to his own experiences, and I'm very excited to talk about this more in depth soon. Now, because Kagami was the finishing touch in order to deakumatize her mother, Tomoe was furious towards her and went as far as to take Kagami's ring, which we know holds her amok. However, at the end of the episode, we'd see Kagami and Felix meet in private in the theater, and I don't know if this is just me now, but since Ephemeral, this theater only makes me think something bad is about to happen whenever I see it. Back to the two though, Felix does end up giving Kagami her ring back, and her real one, which makes me assume that throughout their time together earlier that day, he'd swapped her real ring with a fake he created. Either way, I'm relieved Kagami still has control over herself. However, over with Adrien, things are beginning to really tense up between his father, and I think he's beginning to catch on to that given the way he reacted here after discovering that he'll be sent to London soon.
Gabriel, you better wipe that smile off your face or I will gladly do it for you.
And the last thing that I want to know after watching this episode is when Gabriel says to Natalie, it's for his own good, and I don't know who could stop me. In episode 16, Pretension, we see Natalie give Adrien a counter order to what Gabriel demanded of him because she too obtains one of the two rings, and I hope that we eventually get to see how it is these rings work in particular, since they are two separate objects seeming to hold the same amok. But as always, what do you guys think? Thank you for watching this video until the end, and I hope that you have an amazing 2023. As always, be sure to let me know your thoughts and theories down below, and subscribe so you never miss the tea on the show you love. And I'll see you guys in the next one.